just me. I just want to share my thoughts and opinions about what had happened yesterday with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. What happened yesterday was just horrible and absolutely tragic. And to think that today is Patriots Day, where over 3,000 Americans lost their lives in on 9/11, and that's just a day of infamy that none of us will forget. And yesterday, on September the 10th, with what happened to Charlie Kirk, no one after this is going to be able to forget what had happened after what they had seen when Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck from 200 yards. You see the video of him being shot during the debate that he had at the Utah campus, at the I think it was the University of Utah campus or something like that. And after he was debating somebody, just as he was listening to someone debate with him, shot rang out, and next thing you know, you see in the video that the blood was pouring out from his neck. Very disgusting. Very disgusting, honestly. You know, and from what I've seen, from what I've seen, I think as recently as about a few minutes ago, the I think the shooter has been identified, but we don't know yet. You know, they're still coming out with any possible information of what had happened. So I mean, damn. And I'm still at a loss for words from yesterday. From yesterday, I mean, it just kind of hit me, and I was letting people know, that Charlie Kirk had just died. And I'm like, damn, I didn't even know. So you know, crazy, absolutely crazy. You know, I mean, this right here, what we had just seen yesterday, what America and the rest of the world had seen just yesterday, that was a prime textbook example of fascism, of what Benito Mussolini and fascist Italy did to people who dare disagree with them. With them, and it's the exact same thing that, ironically enough, was also repeated in Hitler's Germany, in Nazi Germany, from 1935 to 1945. Think about that. You know, this is what happens. This is what happens when you let a fascist ideology fester, a fascist extremist ideology fester. You know, this is how it happens. You know, if you want a civil war to erupt in America, this is how you do it. And to you extremist motherfuckers on the left who are sitting there on TikTok celebrating this man's death, you're a piece of shit. There's no other way to describe you. You have already let your true colors show just by doing that, because you didn't fear no consequences, because your mother and father probably didn't spank your ass when they should have. That's the real problem right there. Because you'd rather shut somebody up who cares. And then that, oh, by the way, is married and has two daughters, or had two daughters. He's now survived by those two daughters and that wife, who, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be constantly asked, when is daddy coming home? When is daddy coming home? Only for them to realize later on that their dad just died. He's not coming home. And it's fucking sickening. Fucking sickening. I got to feel for those kids, honestly. Granted, I don't have a wife and kids of my own, but still, I still feel for them, man. You know, no one, no one should ever have to go out like that. Nobody, you know, it's, God, it's just it's just insane, you know, you know. And last time I checked, political violence was never okay. Never okay. But this is what happens when you grow up in an environment where you don't fear consequences, you're not been spanked by your parents, right? So you think it's a good idea that when someone dares have a different opinion from you just want to shut them up violently. I mean, that's just textbook fascism right there. And You know, exact same thing. You know, how stupid. You know, even I don't condone any of that stuff at all. I wouldn't even think about doing something like that. You know, even if the person that I was disagreeing with was a Democrat, I wouldn't even think about doing something like that. Wouldn't even think about something like that. Wouldn't even think of wanting to even harm him. You know, I mean, that's crazy. You know, you don't see a bunch of you don't see a bunch of Republicans doing this shit, do you? No, it's the radical people on the Democrats that were doing this, and it's been proven many times. You know, JFK, um, Martin Luther King. J- Those are the only two that I can think of at the top of my head. You know, you know, fucking insanity, man. You know, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. You should not have to fear about having your brains being blown out on national television because how dare you have a different political opinion from anybody, and how dare you challenge them to a debate, you know? Mm, it's fucking insanity, man. But we as Americans, we will grow stronger from this, you know? But we must never forget, we must honor their memory, honor the memory of the 3,000 Americans who died on 9/11, and above all, honor the memory of Charlie Kirk by, going out there peacefully and just having a peaceful debate. You know, that's what he loved doing. He loved having a peaceful debate with people and everything else because, he's a smart guy. He was a smart guy, you know. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry for the burping, guys. But I mean, if you're going to engage in debate, do it peacefully. Don't try to be a dickhead and be violent. No, that's not how you do it. You know, that's not how we Americans do it at all. That shouldn't be, you know, these crazy fuckers that sit there and act violently and everything else. They should be held accountable for their actions. But you see, the only problem is their mom and dad didn't spank them enough in life because of what they did wrong. You know. So I guess I'm just gonna take another drink of my glass of hard cider here. I'm parched, so. But yeah, what is this world? What the hell is this world come to? Where you somehow have this brazen idea, that you somehow have this brazen idea that you think it's okay for you to kill somebody all because of a difference of a opinion, of a fucking opinion. And it doesn't even have to be political. It can be just a normal conversation. And all of a sudden you start flipping the fuck out and you end up taking someone's life because of that, because you don't know how to handle your own fucking emotions. Fucking insanity, man. You know? I mean, this is not the America that any one of us grew up in. And I was, to tell you the truth, I was born in 1995. You know, I was born in the mid 90s. But damn, man. Even a Gen Xer like myself would know that this is fucked up. This is beyond fucked up, you know? But this is what happens when you radicalize people you know, on mainstream media. And granted, I use mainstream media too, but I'm not, but I've never been radicalized. Never, you know. I mean, goddamn, this is fucking insanity. It really is. Yeah. Even if somebody, even, and again, I don't care who it is, Republican or Democrat, you know, if I simply disagree with you, I just disagree with you. That's it, you know. That doesn't give me a reason to want to threaten to kill you in any sort of kill you or do any other sort of harmful thing to you. No, you know. I mean, it's just sickening to me. It really is. It's sickening to all of us, what had just transpired just yesterday. 24, I think it was what, 24 to mm, I think about 36 hours ago. And I didn't even hear about it. I didn't even hear about it yesterday. And saw a comment on YouTube, we haven't seen this since the Charlie Kirk assassination. I'm like, what? What? And little did I realize what had just transpired. Like I said, I feel for his friends and family. And he was the and He was the main founder of Turning Point USA. You know, and they're devastated. The whole world's devastated by all this. You know, completely devastated by all this, by what had just transpired yesterday. And I think the information is still coming out. You know, I don't know if they caught the shooter yet. I'm thinking that I think they probably did, but I don't know. I just don't know. Anyway, guys, feel free to share this live with with anyone, and more importantly, just feel free to leave the comment in the comment section down below or in the live chat. Um, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and if you do want to leave a comment, please be respectful. Don't be a dick. Okay, you know. I mean, you know, I mean, it's just insane what happened to this poor guy, and the dude's body ain't even cold yet. You know, dude's body hasn't even been cold for the last 24 hours, and you got motherfuckers on TikTok sitting there celebrating this man's death. Fucking sickening, man. Anyway, what do you guys think of this live? Let me know down in the comments section, and just feel free to like and subscribe, and most importantly, share this video. I'm done.